Okay, we go.
Inspiration Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast. Two-man ship this week. Jose is with me. How are you, Jose?
I thought you said something else. Two man, something else instead of shift. Honestly, I'm great, thank you, Lee.
Two-man poop.
How are you? How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, Joe. I'm good. But more importantly, how are you? Has anything exciting happened to you today that you want to share with
Oh,
the
you're
nation?
trying to draw me on what I've told you, haven't I? Yeah, I'm celebrating today actually because I know I told you all about my tennis and my first time in the league. And there were two leagues. There's one league that's League One, League Two. I was in League Two because I was just started playing competitively again. Well, not I never played competitively. I played at school, but yeah, it's literally I won the league. Won the league first time.
Fantastic news. I'm so chuffed for you, Joe.
Really happy with that. Yeah,
So
really
from
fantastic.
going into I'm going to try a bit of tennis, you've owned that and then some.
Yeah, I do try though. I do practice a lot. I do put in the work, right? Because I want to win. I don't go in wanting to lose. I want to win, but I do lose, but I learn. And Lee already knows because I do. I do record me playing tennis, so I try and learn from that. So, Lee's actually got a YouTube channel. So you probably see some of the videos. But yeah, I do record my tennis matches, some of them, so I can learn and like the coaching, right? Developing, trying to be better, just
100%.
trying to make those little tweaks.
It's
Yeah.
great stuff, Joe. Great news. Joe's had a Guinness. I won't lie, drinking a beer as well. So we will be jolly
what beer
today.
What beer you got?
Have a guess. It's my favourite brand.
Oh God, now you're testing me. I don't.
Or it's not. It's a favourite brand, not necessarily my favourite brand.
Is it actually a beer?
It's,
hang on.
you can't
I
see
can't
from
see
my
it.
virtual background. It's Superboc, the Portuguese
I would never have
beer.
got that.
Reminds me
I've
of my Portuguese holiday a few years ago.
Oh, how awesome! I love that. I love that story.
It's very
I love
nice.
that story.
I enjoy it. It's a good evening beer. Right.
Oh,
Anyway,
go on. Yeah.
I'm rambling. And for those, again, join us live, YouTube, TikTok, etc. You know where to find us. Hit subscribe. We'll tell you when we're live. And as a bonus today, there will be, for a peek behind the curtain, 2 lives. Obviously, if you're listening audio, this was probably a while ago, but 2 lives right now. If you are listening audio, TikTok and YouTube, subscribe. You can get on with the lives wherever you are in our timeline. So I'm going to do a subject. Joe's going to do a subject. On the next show, we'll kind of pretend it's the next week. But we didn't decide who's going to go first, Joe. So who is going first?
Oh, I can go first if you like.
Okay. So Joe is up with a subject for this week with that little hidden bit of production stuff there. What have you got for us, Mr.
It's a little
Noya?
bit off the hoof actually, but now I'm really not struggling with it. But this is obviously a subject that's close to my heart at the minute. So I'm looking at this book. So my thing at the minute is just going to be sort of I'm going to be doing sort of serialization of books. So I think it's quite nice to do these things. So there's a book I've got here, which is The 5 Top Regrets of the Dying, now by Bronnie Ware. Now I've read this, most of it. I haven't completed it all because it's quite a hard read because, as you all know, Mum passed away last year. So we're getting on for year 2, but I'm starting to accept it. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is us. This happened so quickly, and I'm having conversations with my sister, and it's brought us close together. We're recognising that we're all in the last third of our lives, right? So Ray Dalio talks in his great book, Principles, and also he's got an app called Principles where he talks about the third. So you get your first third when you're sort of growing, and then you've got the middle third up to your 40s, then 40s, 50s, into your last third of your life. So you've got probably 30 years left or something if you get a good life, right? And so we're in the last sort of phase of our life, and this phase is meant to be one of the happiest of your life. No, that's not for everybody, but it's for most people, potentially. I mean, I know my mum definitely had, the latter years. She did have a great life. She really enjoyed it. And of course, there's exceptions to that rule. But I'd like to just share some of this because I think it's really important that we take these lessons and we apply them. So I'm just going to just read the first one. And I'm just going to read it because I don't need to really read the book. So I'm just going to read what the first regret is written in this book. And the first regret, it says here, and we can talk about this. It says, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself. I'll repeat that. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself. And that's regret 1. Now, for me, when I was younger, I didn't do this. Now, Lee already knows. I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into. Lee talks about the brand and Jose Noya-Inspiration Nation, and I don't know when I changed it, but probably 2, 3, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think maybe now. I don't know. Or was it recently? More recent? That might be recent. I don't know. But I wanted to change it to Jose Noya.
I think it was obviously tying to a weird concept. I think it was even more recently than that, actually, Joe, that you did that change.
So it might have been around Mum's passing, but when I was younger, I never really wanted to, stand out. I wanted to blend in, and of course, back in the 80s when I was growing up, I was Spanish. Well, my dad was Spanish, so that was, back then we weren't so culturally aware, let's say. So when I said things like my name was Jose, people used to think, oh, it's Josie, and joked about, and so I didn't want to stand out. So I just said, well, just call me Joe, because it's easier, right? It's easier, it's more English. So I didn't want to stand out. I didn't want to be different. And I really wasn't living my life. So I was quite good at football. I was quite good at sports. And people would say, yeah, you're doing really well. But then I had friends that would say, oh, but the thing is, when you start to get good at something, you start to get targeted, i.e., people say, you're not as good, or, you get under the spotlight, essentially. And I couldn't cope with that. So on times I purposely didn't play well, so I wouldn't stand out, which is really weird when I think about it now. And it's really funny because I was having a conversation with my sister about this, and it was round about the people that I surrounded myself with, and some of the people weren't very good for me, and so they'd take away my confidence, and so I would just shrink, and I'd want to not stand out at all, and so I wasn't, as they say, shining my light on things, and so I would draw back. I didn't want to stand out. I want to be very quiet in a classroom. I didn't want to make any waves. And this is what I took away from recently my mum passing away and reading this book, because I got this book after that. So for me, right now, even when I started this YouTube channel over 10 years ago, that was the start, I think, of me starting to be who I was. And only, obviously, the last 4 years when we sort of started the podcast and I've, done the work, self-development work through Stephen Covey's 7 Habits we talked about this book before, haven't we?
Absolutely, we have.
Serialised that. So I've done a lot of work with that, and I worked through Evan Carmichael's book, Built to Serve, and Your One Word, and speaking to Mark Drager and people like that. And it's only then I really noticed, and obviously through my leadership stuff that we talk about, Lee, and you was on my team and we talk about that. So I realised there's a pattern of me wanting to help people. But to help people, I needed to be myself. And there was one time when I wanted to say, I want to be a coach. I want to be a coach. And I just think, could I be a coach? And you always got to make a decision. So it's almost like a decision I made. I made a decision, I'm going to be a coach. So if you are going to be a coach, then you've got to have the identity of being a coach. And that means you've got to start acting like a coach, be the coach, do the learning, do the work. And so I started to do that. But the thing is, when you do that, you start to stand out. You start to be a target. You start to have to deal with criticism, with challenges to your thought process. And I think that's healthy. But there's also the other sides which aren't so healthy, that people might start to, be challenging to you, but not in a very nice way. And Lee knows what I'm talking about, where I've tried these things before. But through that challenge and being very, very challenged, and I got struggled emotionally with it. But through all that, by holding on to coaching, by holding true to values, I decided I am going to be a coach. I'm going to live my life to what I am. And through all that work, I've now discovered that is what I want to do. And this is why the last 4 years, I've been on social media, I've been on YouTube. I'm now talking from my heart and not being apologetic. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen. But I'm going to be unapologetic for me wanting to help people, because I want people to discover the power of coaching and what this whole thing is about, inspiring people to get to the next level, all within a capability thing. So you don't have to pay tons of money, right? Because tons of coaching calls are loads and loads of money. We don't want any of that. We want people to have real good access to really good information, learn from experiences that we have here, pass on those experiences, and have that coaching mindset. And now, up to this point, it's happening. Things are starting to happen. YouTube's growing. I'm working in my current place of work That's working. Things are taking traction. Now, I don't know where it's going to go, but all I know is that I'm much more stepping into that. I'm not going to look back and go, I wish I had done that. And that's what this is about. So that for me is it. So on right now, I'm being unapologetic for me, and I'm ridding myself of all the, all the stuff that I had as a child, as not to stand out. Because when you believe in something so strongly, you do have to step into the arena. Absolutely. And you have to be able to face the criticism. And that's the thing that I find quite hard still. But I'm facing it. I'm prepared for people to challenge me. And we just take it from there. So that's where I sit with it at the minute. And I want everybody here that's listening on TikTok and listening to the podcast, step into who you are. As long as you're doing good for the world, helping other people, that is the best, I think, one of the best places you can ever be. So that, Lee, 100%, I don't know if you picked anything out of that, Lee, but 100%. Anyway, any thoughts?
Gordo's Games on YouTube, by the way, says, yes, you can be a coach. Support
Wonderful.
for you
there,
I love
Jose.
That. Support for you.
Yeah,
and just to say, my timing's off. Again, strange concept. So actually, I'm going to say it's about 3 years from the Joe to Jose switch, because we made a hoodie for you with Jose Noya on the back of it, and that was either just before or just after all the COVID stuff kicked off. So we're looking about 3 years ago, give or take, for that, Mr. Noya.
I thought it might have been, yeah. Sort of 3 or 4 years I thought I'd have thought about it. Yeah, go on, carry on, Lee. Sorry, go on.
So I think that is the right sort of timeline. No, it's good thoughts with that. And like you said, I know the stuff you've been through that and being true to yourself. And it kind of fits with the 3 stages of life like you talked about. Is I think it isn't until later on that you start to build up that comfort and that confidence and that courage to step into that place and be all right with you and lean into the things that are meaningful to you, rather than just, certainly from my experience, fitting in with the herd.
Yeah, definitely. What's up, Lee? What you seeing? You seeing some comments?
I'm terrible. My screen's all the way over here. So
I can see you doing this whole thing.
So, friendly comments from you, from Lewis from work.
Lewis,
saying it's good to see the passion.
Come on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
That's it.
Thanks for watching.
100%.
Amazing. I love it. This is what it's about. This is what this is about. Step into who you are. Be unapologetic. So long as you're doing good in the world, that's the key. You're helping people move on, helping people. It's just the best thing. We're all humans. We want to help each other, right? And this is what this is about. This is what gives me the most joy. By doing this and helping others, and it's just so good to get the YouTube comment. I love this because this is the first time I've really felt a lot of interaction. Right, I love it. Because I can't see that, by the way, but I love it.
Fantastic stuff. I can assure it's there. That's why I'm squinting off to the side of my screen there, Joe. I am not paying attention to you. No, I was saying the same. I think there was a lot. I talked about this on other podcasts. A lot for me where it was almost like this urge to fit in. Like everyone else knew what was the right thing to wear and where to go and the cool things to do. And sometimes I was on the outside looking in, and I just needed to find out that secret formula that everyone else knew. And then you suddenly realise that, or you gradually realise that there is no such thing, and you're most comfortable when you're doing what's true to you, what you like, what you lean into, what you want to do professionally, personally, people you want to associate with. All of that stuff is finding that identity, which I do think does come in those later, or for a lot of people, I would say, comes in those later stages. Not for everyone.
Yeah, I wish I discovered it early though.
I agree, 100%.
I wish I could have that mindset, and I was 18. But then maybe that's the learning, right? That's the learning. We have to go through that learning phase.
The thing is, if at 18, so when you're 18 back in 1937 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's the one.
And someone comes up to you and they try and impart their wisdom of, don't try and fit with the crowd. Be Jose, don't be Joe. Don't worry about what they say. Be your best in football. Don't worry about standing out. Would you have taken that on board?
No.
That's the irony of all of this, I think.
There is an interesting thing though. If I'd been coached in the way we talk about coaching, and would I have been open-minded? I don't know. I don't know whether I'd still be open-minded. Or maybe I had to go through the depression, all that stuff to become this person. Maybe that is the dots looking backwards, right? We talk about Steve Jobs and what he said about looking down the mountain or connecting the dots backwards, wasn't it? I think that's what he said. But I think I discovered coaching back then, and someone had spoken to me, not in a way, in part, like telling me what to do, but maybe talking to me about what's the challenge right now, like in a way that would speak to me as an 18-year-old, right? Because because you'd have to speak to me in a different way that I would. The way I was speaking now, I'd have to speak to myself in a different way than I was speaking now, because I'd probably still struggle with it, because I'd be feeling quite fearful of stepping into those things. So I'd need to it'd be very gradual. It'd be quite a long process. But if I could get that mindset, it would have been, I think, an absolute game changer. But I do think some people discover it a lot earlier. But yeah, I do. Well, the thing is, if I had discovered it earlier, the thing is, would I be the person I am now? Probably not. I'll be in a totally different place, potentially. So I mean, I played bass guitar. So would I have if I'd just gone with what I loved, maybe I wouldn't be here. I'd be playing in a band somewhere, doing whatever. Right? That's the irony of it. This is the whole crux of it. However, we are here now. We've got to do good things, and I'm really, really happy right now. I'm really happy, and I just again reiterate that comment about be who you are, be who you are, and if you need support, come over to this podcast and just listen and interact with the show, and Lee, I've got to say to you, Lee, I want to say thank you for all the support you've given me, because I know you facilitated a lot of this when I was, when I worked with you. And where I'm talking about. You really helped a lot of those things, the action steps, and that's what I needed. Really, I needed that sort of I needed someone to believe in what I believed, because it was really rare to find that. It was really rare to find it, but you actually believed in it, and that for me, and that helped me believe in more. And then obviously doing the videos and the traction we're getting now is just adding to that belief system, right? But I just want to say thank you, Lee, for all the support and the continued support, because you helped build the podcast, right? And you're still doing it. You don't have to, but you're still doing it. And this for me is a brilliant thing. I want to gather good people like yourself, like you are a significant figure in my life, for doing this and getting this out there and doing these things, and like you're doing this thing with the streaming, and we've come up with these ideas and stuff like that. I mean, you're really supportive. You're like, let's have a go at it. Let's try it. I know you said you're the optimist, and I love that. And I think that's what I connect to, right? Because you'll just give it a go. Let's see what happens. All we can do is try, right? But this stuff actually works. And this has all led to this thing, me do stuff at my workplace, doing this, really sort of tapping into that. And it's a real, honestly, it just gathers momentum. It just persist. It's not always going to be easy, but just consistently doing it just builds that momentum, and just do it. Just continue. It won't always work. You'll fail a lot, which I have. I've cried. I've laughed. I felt really sad, but ultimately I've just kept moving forward very slowly, but it just keeps going, just keep going. Joy, do you only got anything to add to that? I know I've gone a bit there.
You've laughed, you've cried, you've sung a little song sometimes, which is always disturbing.
Yeah, I love a little song, me, but happy birthday and all that malarkey, when you get embarrassed, oh, I'm not singing that. I love it. That's our point.
It is the point. Thank you for all that, Joe. It's been a pleasure, by the way, with all of this. And I didn't even think of it back to the work stuff, because all that we did then, which was new to me, set me off on the path to where I am now. I still use a number of those things today. Yeah,
I'm talking really back in a day where you were sort of on the team and you believed in it, and you supported it, and you said, let's have a go at this. And I remember you saying, coming to me, I couldn't sleep last night. I remember this really, you said, when I sort of launched this idea, you went, I couldn't sleep last night. It was like, you said that to me. I thought, this has got something going on here. And that was a start, right? But ever since then, we've had that, like you said, I think you said in the previous podcast, actually, because I was in the previous one with Ryan, you were saying about, it's not been an on and off thing, but we've always had that connection, that almost like that thread you talked about, which we just those sort of people that believe in that sort of thing, and I think is lovely. And I want to give a shout out to Ryan as well, because Ryan's really helped, because when Ryan's here, he's helped. He's continued to be on this podcast, support the message. And again, it's what it makes it what it is, right? So massive. Yeah. Thanks, Lee.
So this is it. Look at this is the, and I feel it so. It's the energy and the happiness, I suppose, from leaning into that, doing what you want to do, being comfortable with yourself, giving things a go. Believe this. I don't know if it's the one I'll do later today or if it's one we'll do next week. So people will probably hear it in 3 or 4 weeks' time. But there's a lot of similarities in some of the stuff you're saying there, with a couple of ideas I've got in my head as well. And it's the symmetry between some of the things we're doing is just uncanny sometimes. But obviously we'll get to that in, one of them in a little while for those that are sticking about, and one in a few weeks' time. A couple more comments from YouTube. who's again here. He said, never reflect on the past, strive for the future. All the steps you took put you both in the position you are now. Thank you for that. And secondly, he said, there is space for regrets, but overall we value the steps taken to walk down the path, and we choose to thrive in the present and look to the future. I think that's a great message there.
Very wise words. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to everybody supporting the message. Thank you to you on TikTok as well and on YouTube, because it doesn't grow. We can't do this on our own. And I always say that it needs people to do this. And you can never do everything when you need people. So thank you so much. Just keep sharing, liking. Let's have the likes up, because we need likes to encourage so TikTok, come on, get your likes up. Let's go. And also on YouTube, just like that. Press that like button. Anyway, I'm taking away from you, Lee. You might want to do this stuff. I'm taking that away.
You're stepping into the shilling. This is what I bring to the party, and you're taking it over.
I just wanted to get some more likes on the board.
All about the likes. Hold on, I'll throw a little few for you on TikTok. Get the ball rolling.
Oh, well done.
It's
there
like,
you go.
It's like if you worked in like a cafe or something, and you put a tip jar out, you put a few coins in to start the ball rolling. So I'm just putting a few coins in to start the likes going.
God, you did actually quite a few, 36 likes. That's quite a lot, Lee. So you must have really gone hammering that
good
button.
Fun. See, Fortnite has been training me with all this quick fun action.
I love it, Lee.
That's what it's all about. Right, we do, as Joe said, we thank everyone supporting us. We are 4 years plus into our journey now. If you like what we're doing, whatever you are viewing or listening to us on, hit subscribe, hit the review button, hit the 5-star button. All of that really helps. Tell friends, tell family, get people involved in what we're doing. Support us on social media. The show is at Listen Toin, Listen Toin, and of course you just put Jose Noya-Inspiration Nation into your Google machine. And if there is a platform he is not on, it is not worth being on. He is on YouTube, he's on Facebook, he's on Twitter, he's on MySpace, he's on Bebo, he's on Friends Reunited. Jose Noya is everywhere.
I was on, what was it, Vine that got scrapped once? I was on Vine for a bit.
I missed Vine, I wasn't cool enough for Vine.
It was like TikTok, wasn't it?
You've probably got like a GeoCities site somewhere, haven't you? GeoCities/Jose Noya/Inspiration Nation.
There's probably something going on. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm on board with it.
Someone out there might humour me. It's old humour now. And of course, inspirationnation.org.uk is our website. Archive of everything we've ever done is there. Sign up for Joe's newsletter, Jose's newsletter, should I say. And there is the Inspiration Nation merchandise store for all your merchandising needs. I'm leaning down to get my mug, not very discreetly. My nostrils are probably on the camera now. Here we go. Get yours, inspirationnation.org.uk. It's a bit 2021 now, but we still have face masks over there as well, so you can get yours too.
I think I've actually got mine. I still carry mine around, because isn't there still a thing? Oh, maybe not.
I don't know. But we thank everyone. We appreciate the support. It's what helps us do what we do. There we go. Joe's putting it up on the screen. All I do is count us down in a minute. We'll be back again next week. And again, if you are with us live on either TikTok or YouTube, bear with us for like 5 minutes and we will be back for an advanced recording for next week's show as well.
Oh, look at that. Get a double bonus tonight, guys.
What Love more that. Could you want? We'll count down. 3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation. Catch you guys
later. Thanks, TikTok. Catch you in 5. We're back, so don't